Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hi, Patrick. I hope you enjoyed your time at break. I'm just tempted before I say anything. I just wanted to sing this song. It has been running through my brain. Just want to sing it and we're done. I wanted to sing this song. Amazing Grace. I'll sing this song. You know that song? Come to it again. I understand that right. Just the person that wrote this song, he visited Sierra Leone. I think it was 1772. And there he got this inspiration to stop slavery. And he wrote this song in Sierra Leone. Wow. From what I understand. Yes, this song Amazing Grace. It has something to do with my country. Even John Milton was into slavery. So it was there that God touched him. What I understand so far. And the first time I heard about it was quite amazing because one of the first songs that I learned to play with my on the guitar was Amazing Grace. So when I came to understand that for many believers I was leading today, it took me back. We are talking quite a lot about colonialism, what happened to Africa. So it's quite inspiring for me. And when I started talking 2 days back, I started by asking a question. I want to start by asking a question again. I don't know how many of you here have experienced this. Somebody happened to give you a piece of property or land, as the case may be, your church. Then after which you went to the church and you celebrated. Then all of a sudden, you realize that somebody was encroaching into your property. Then you went to court, the High Court judge, just to shorten a long story, having presided over the case, ruled that you are the right owner of the property. Then all of a sudden, somebody came from the blues, and the person said the property is their family's property. I don't know if any of you have experienced something like that. So in my church in Sierra Leone, we have been fighting a long fight over land issue. Many years back, when Tijani Kaba was the president, that was I think over 20 years back, the government gave us 5 acres land. So they gave us that land, but we didn't develop the land. Then they asked us at some point that they wanted to use the land for something else. I think that's the place where American Embassy is now located. They gave us another place. So we went there. It was not 5 acres exactly, but 4.5 acre land they gave to us. So we went there, we started to develop it, but we stopped halfway. Then somebody came, one man came, Bishop, by the way. He said his father was the right person on the land, passed away and left that land for them to inherit it. So we went to court again. The same High Court judge that ruled in the first case that we had the right to own that land was the same High Court judge that ruled again that this person is the right owner of the land. Quite interesting. I don't know if that is happening here in this part of the world, where we can buy a piece of land, another person can buy the same piece of land, another person can buy the same piece of land. So interestingly, the bishop in the country, so the High Court judge said, you know what, you people, you are Christians, you are go and settle your issue. Go down and settle. So the bishop, one of the bishops in the country, Thomas Bishop, he said, you know what you can do? Sit down and talk about this thing. You are brothers. There's no need to fight. So our pastor came and talked to us. He said, okay, let us go in for something for a day. So he said he would give us 1 acre out of 5 acres or 4.5 acres. Said he would give us 1 acre. So when he went to our own lawyers, they said they are not going to accept that work. They will never accept that work. Because as far as they are concerned, that land belonged to our church. So spend thousands of dollars to fight that case. That's the situation we are facing with now. So maybe you are like me. Sometimes I am in between the wall, whether as Christians we should settle our differences at the court. I'm in between sometimes. Sometimes think we should, or sometimes think we should not. But I want to talk something about strategies here. I remember when I was introducing myself, I said I belong to different ministries. World with Flesh, Youth with a Mission, Destiny African Youth Summit.
Did we order? Did you order?
Yes, that first one. All right. And somebody at the back. So I would like to take us back to this aspect of colonialism. I think you cannot correct that one, I'll just leave it like that.
Yeah.
We realized that our land problem started back from slavery. So when the British became, the Freetown was started as a place for free slaves, those coming from America, from the Nova Scotia, from Britain. That's the place they came to settle. But something happened. There was a time when the colonial government, they imposed the tax. They said everybody that owned a house in Freetown should pay. So the chief and his followers, by the warrior, those were the Gen Zs at that time. So we rebelled. They fought them and it was captured. So we see that this kind of thing has been happening not today, since then back, before we were born, before our parents were born. So as I belong to this ministry, Destiny African Youth Summit, we have our focus. And quite recently, we've decided to work on certain things. Take me to the next slide. The first aspect you will see, colonial legacy, which I talked about, and also urbanization challenges. And in Freetown, when we experienced the war, after the war, quite a lot of people are coming from the provinces. Part of the problem is that we have a centralized system of governance, or government, I'll put it. Most of the things, the important things are right at the center, at the heart of the city. So there are a lot of people coming into the city to dwell there. And that is causing problem for people who are serving down the day crewing, because they don't have quite a lot of space. The space they are occupying, they are going to live in those places that are prone to destruction. I guess you heard about the mudslide, right? The mudslide that happened.
Yeah.
Because we are told not to build their houses in those places, and they happen to go there. And when that destruction happened, it took thousands of lives, including the church. People, they understand there was a church that was having a whole night of prayer at that particular time. So all of them were crushed down. That's what exactly happened, because the city is choked, people are moving. Another problem, I think it was Profoundly that talked about this yesterday, or was it Stephen, right? Big governments. We have this problem. When you go to Freetown, sadly enough, we don't have quite a lot of spaces. I think one of the reasons why we are not doing well in football, in sports, is because our chiefs, they happen to sell almost all of the spaces. You don't see places to play football like that, recreational centers. And also, you don't see places to throw trash. I felt very bad when I was doing my mission in the Gambia. a friend of mine, Stephen is from Canada. He visited Freetown and he went back and told me that, said, excuse me for this word, he said the most filthy city that I've ever been to is Freetown. Stephen, so I felt bad because when he talked about the trashes all over, when you go there, people don't have spaces to throw the trashes. Sometimes those in the marketplaces, when they finish the work, they'll just dump everything down up in the street like that. And when the flooding comes, you'll have a lot of destruction. I wish I can show a video about something that happened yesterday. One of my brother's wives sent me that video. It caused quite a lot of destruction with the flooding. And I understand that 3 people were killed just yesterday. So it's kind of challenging when you have a place like that. Take me to the next slide. So we move on to this one as a ministry. We want to look at how we can get this network. We believe that land justice is a fundamental part of our faith-based mission. We will draw on this biblical principle, the principles of stewardship, equality, compassion to guide our understanding, and also the practical implications by bringing justice to empower communities, advocacy, policy, and also collaborative efforts coming together to see how we can community empowerment, our aim to educate, to empower local communities so that we can work together to fight for freedom, to fight for justice. Also, partnership, interfaith collaboration. I know this is hard for some people, but that's the truth. There are things that we can do in common, and there are things we cannot compromise. Am I communicating something here? And also, we aim to actively engage with policymakers to propose influence to see how we can move forward in order to bring big change in our community. Before I close quickly, take me to this 2 slides quick before I can close. This community engagement, capacity building, multi-stakeholders collaboration to see how we can come together. These are some things that we want to do, we aim to do, so that in the end, God will reign. In the end, we'll all stand and give thanks to God. So I want to share this with you, to invite you to join this young ministry, young people, these young Gen Zs, who call them, that have the hearts to move, to make these changes in our community. Let me quickly jump up to another slide to tell you what Home Leon. I think we are the one that asked me about ministry that's partnering, right? So Home Leon, let's have a this organization, Home Leon, they are working with people that are living in informal structures like slum communities where I'm working through slum. Come down and see. They have this goal. Take to the next slide, please. They have this goal to provide a permanent settlement for those who are suffering in the slum. I think it was Professor Rosemary yesterday that said she doesn't like to see people down there. So they are doing this one to see how they can bring them. Their mission is to create this village of thousands of slum dwellers, take them to outside, provide what they need, all they can have. It has been very difficult, to be honest with you. They tried several times to take some people out of the slum. Interestingly, with all what they can provide for them, go there back to stay there. So I agree with those people who can say the best is not to take them there. The best is to take the slum out of there, because that's the place where they were born, where they were raised from. It's kind of difficult to bring them outside. I agree with those people. But it's also hard to see them how they're going to be suffering pain. Let's move on fast. So only the strategy is to take this one. I think this is where I'm working through the slum. Yes, they are moving those people who are going through difficult time, those who are facing floodings and other difficult aspects. They move them from there, they come with them here, and this house that you are seeing they are building, in the end will be their own house. Are you understanding what I'm saying? They work, they provide jobs for them, they can pay a small amount of money, and at a certain time, at a certain point, the house will become theirs. Is that not something that is worth praising? Yes, let's move on to the next slide. So we see the same thing here. You see the life of slum dwellers here. We see the different life now with children to change their situation. So we go to the next one. They have hospitals for them, schools. They have this little small village for them. It's very, very, very interesting. I would like some of you when you visit my country to go and see what home is doing. So that's it. That's what I can share quickly to you. To say that God is doing something new. Something new is going to happen. Something new is in store. Let us don't give up. We work together as a team. In the end, God will win and we will rejoice together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrick Freeman. I want us to try and save some time where we've been hearing so much about land justice. And before we even can accept a call or commit, I think we need to begin reflecting on what we are hearing and ask how is this applying to our spaces and what can we do. So trying to save some time there. But I'm going to ask Shem to just pray for Patrick and what they are doing. As you have a question. Yes, okay. As Aishaya, as you prepare to also share with us, welcome. I've seen that you've come on. Yeah, so if you have a slide, just prepare. I'll just take, let's just pray for him and then I'll take the question after. Sorry. Mine has gone back. Sorry.
We're grateful to you for what you're doing at Patrick, the team, the organization, the work they're doing in the communities, seeking change, seeking to see transformation in the neighborhood, in people's lives. And so as your spirit is on him, the team, we pray that beautiful things will spring out of their work, that you encourage their efforts, and that you make resources available. We pray that the team will be strong and the work will go on. We ask that that work will multiply in their great. In your name we pray.
You can take a question.
Well, it was a comment, but I thought I would just say, well, I can see, Patrick, thank you so much. The passion of what you're doing and the calling is very clear. But I'm also wondering what sustains you in the midst of all this in Sierra Leone? Because it can be an arduous, lonesome work. And with that passion, what sustains you so that what you are able to do, what you're doing currently can continue happening? Because maybe it's a season that you're in. And so how are you, managing through that with your team, there is and all that? Thanks.
You're still married.
Quite interesting. I must be honest with you. It is not that easy. It's really hard. When I was doing my master's program, the policy told me is that when you are studying, especially when you are doing a master's program, nobody will give you salary, just for your study. So I did my master's program very fast. 1 year, 8 months to go back to work because nobody was paying me. It was hard. But one thing I always have at the back of my mind is we can do everything through Christ Just that's what I can say. It's not by mind, not by power, it's by the Spirit. It's all about giving up your rights. When we serve, we have to give up our rights. We have rights to many privileges. But when we are ready to give up those rights, we will serve God faithfully. That's all I can say. Thank you.